Welcome to Smoky Mountain Voices. I'm your hostess, Jen Torres. Sit back and relax and join me with our guest.
Welcome to Smoky Mountain Voices. I have here with me Bob Lochmiller. Some of you may have seen him if you're local, may have seen him around town in Christmas time as Santa Claus. He was not always Santa. So, but to back up a few years, we do have both have something in common. We're both from Oklahoma, and but we met actually officially in person. We met today, but we're friends on Facebook. We belong to the same social club, Sevier County Gun Club, and we just kind of have passed each other basically. So made a point to meet with Bob because he has very interesting background. He's done a lot, met a lot of interesting people, and but we're going to start basically with what we had in common, Oklahoma, because he was born there, spent a few years there, but then you went out to California, did some
Right.
things, and I'll let you give a brief kind of overview of
Okay.
that.
All right. So I was born in October of 1945. So I'm 80 years old now. I was born 2 months after we'd bombed Japan with the atomic bombs. And so I was a war baby, actually. My father was a native Californian, and he had joined the U.S. Army, of course, during World War II. And went to Oklahoma, met my mother, who was native Oklahoman, and she had a background of both German immigrant and Choctaw nation. Her mother, my grandmother, was very much Choctaw Indian, native born there, and I have her original land grant by the U.S. government
Wow.
for as a Choctaw newborn in 1907 when Oklahoma became a state. Oklahoma, by the way, is a Choctaw word meaning red people, and so she had quite a history. My family there. I was raised very frontier type. They were a lot of emphasis on protecting the family name. Um, they were business people that owned the two little small mom and pop grocery stores in the town that I was born in, Sulphur. And so, with that background, the war finally ended. And when I was 5 years old, my folks decided they'd move to California, where my dad was from, and go into the avocado business, which his dad had done previously for a number of years and been very successful at it. So I found moved out there and was raised there for all my growing up period through elementary, junior high, and most of the high school. I then went to college, uh, a community college for 2 years. I got my associate arts degree in criminology. Then I went to California State University, Long Beach, and got my bachelor's degree in criminology. And my intent was to go on the Orange County Sheriff's Department in Southern California, which is located right next to Los Angeles. And so I applied for that. It took a few months to go through the background and physical and all that kind of stuff. I was finally accepted and went there. Actually, there's three different sections there. You have civil division, bailiff. You have jail division, which is huge. We had 1,200 inmates in the main jail, plus outlying ones. And then we had the patrol division, and of course, investigators and all that in addition. So I ended up doing all three and spent a total of 10 years there. Um, but while I was on the sheriff's department, I got a notice of Vietnam was a full bore war going on. And in about 78, I got a letter from the U.S. government saying report for my pre-draft physical in Los Angeles. And I knew I was going to go to Vietnam in the Army. So I went to a Navy recruiter in Long Beach, and they took me, allowed me to become a member there in the reserve unit. It was a 6-year obligation, 2 years active, 4 years reserve. They sent me to the Philippines, Subic Bay, Philippines, which is the world's largest Navy base, 262 square miles. And while I was there, the executive officer of the base called me in and wanted me to work as a criminal investigator for the base, which I did. And I had many exciting things happen while I was there. Um, Eventually, I got released in San Francisco from my active duty and went back to the sheriff's department. Um, did some time in the jail there, went to patrol division my first month in patrol. When I training officer, we got into a shooting that resulted in a Tustin City officer being killed in front of me, and my partner shot in the face and survived it. And I ended up catching the guy who was attempting to hunt down his wife and kids, kill them. So that started off my career in patrol. And I was in that for about 6 years and had many other incidents happen there. It was a very exciting time of life. And then I decided to change careers. And my uncle had called me on the phone and said, I've got uh, a business opportunity for you back in Oklahoma. I'm going to open up a roller disco skating rink, brand new, 14,000 square foot place in well, it had been about 77 or so. And would you like to come back and run this place? And I'll just split the profit with you. I don't want anything to do with it. You just run it. And so I did, and I really enjoyed it. It was fun. Got the best physical shape of my life from skating every day. And then after 3 years, the weather was so hot in the summers back there. It was unbelievable. And I decided to move back to California. I had a friend there offer me a job as a warehouse manager for a large overhead door company in Anaheim, California. And I took that job, and after several years of seeing how that worked, I decided to become an installer myself, run my own door company. So my wife and I, Betty, moved to Northern California by Sacramento and opened up our own garage door business. And while I was there, I decided to get into acting, and my first movie was Phenomenon with John Travolta and Robert Duvall. I just played a background actor, farmer for John Travolta. And amazingly, in all that acting, I never once appeared as Santa Claus. That came later. And I was character actor, played everything from New York state judge to a poker player at a casino, all kinds of different parts, character parts that I enjoyed doing it, and it was really fun. Um, so then we moved from there after realizing that housing prices were going to be so expensive, and it was so crowded, 33 million people in the state. We decided to move somewhere more rural, and so we looked at Tennessee, and we came out here and decided we would live in Sevier County, and that was about 17 years ago. And we ended up doing that, and we ran our garage door business for a couple of years, at least 2 or 3 years, from Sevier County just by telephone, um, with people out there in California doing the work for me. And so we enjoyed that. And while I was doing all this, I was also a whitewater raft guide for 10 years and on the South Fork of the American River outside of Sacramento. Did that almost every weekend, it seemed like. Worked Monday through Friday, did my door business. But on the weekends, I did the rafting business commercially and took people down the river on a 20-mile stretch, broken down into 2 days. And it was really fun and enjoyable. It's risky, but it was exciting. And so on all these years, I've been a firearm enthusiast all my life, it seems like. And so I collected firearms, shot firearms, became a firearms instructor, got certified by the NRA on rifles, shotguns, and pistols, and um, did teach handgun shooting for a couple of years at a range in Auburn, California. And I've always enjoyed that. I still shoot at least once every couple of weeks here in Tennessee, and always liked it. Had many different adventures with people and things that's gone on, and I find life very interesting. And glad to meet Jen here. And like she said, it's the first time we've actually met in person was today, but I've seen her a number of times in the gun club on their comments, and we're also Facebook friends, and so that's how this happened today.
Mm-hmm. Yes,
Okay.
I try to find interesting people to talk to. I like to know their stories, and I want to share these stories. So going back to the time that you spent acting, you mentioned a couple of big name actors. Who, in all the actors you've met, who would you say the most, the most interesting?
Well, two of them that I really enjoyed meeting. One was John Travolta. I worked with him close as his background farmer in the scenes in that movie, and he was a very nice guy. In fact, to my shock and amazement, I was told to report, get costumed up, the farmer outfit and all that with a couple other guys, well, 3 or 4 other guys. And so we're waiting on set in this grove, orange grove type setting, waiting for him to show up. And so he pulls up in a big black limousine. It's obviously the stars here. And he had a guy with him that brushed him off, took care of him. I mean, his aide did everything. Anyway, John Travolta walked up to us. Now, we're just background actors. And he walked over to me and said, "Hi, my name's John. What's yours?" And I said, "I know who you are." I said, "I appreciate you. I'm Bob Lochmiller. Glad to meet you." And I could actually feel my mouth start to fall open. I felt embarrassed. I mean, I was just kind of starstruck. I'd never been seen a star of that caliber.
Right.
But anyway, he was great during the entire film. And then the other one was Robert Duvall, who I'd seen the whole series, Lonesome Dove, he was in. I loved his portrayal in there as a Texas Ranger, and he and his old Captain McCall,
Yeah.
and the whole story about him. And so I told him when we had the little while on a set standing there with each other, I said, you know, that part you played, I really got the connection between you and the captain, because I said I was a deputy sheriff for a number of years, and you develop a real close bond with people that your life depends upon. And so that came across very strong in that movie. And he said, "Well, I'll tell you what, to be honest with you, if I could play any part the rest of my life, that would have been it. But, you know, they killed me off in that movie, in that TV series."
Right.
I said, "Yeah, they did." Anyway, he was a genuinely nice guy and had a whole different acting approach. He would be in character when he wasn't. You couldn't talk to him around the camera. When he was in character, he was full on in character. From minutes or a half hour before he even did it, he was that person. Where John Travolta could be standing there talking to you, and then turn around in 10 seconds, he was John Travolta.
Wow.
He could switch instantly, And that was just him. That's the way
Yeah.
he really is. He wasn't that different than his portrayal in the movies. But Robert Duvall was, I guess they call him a method actor.
Mhm.
He would get in character, his thoughts, his look, and he didn't break character until that film was over,
Wow.
that filming. And so those were the two biggest ones. Gary Sinise, I got to meet him. I take that back. Gary Sinise, I was in his movie, The George Wallace Story, but I did not meet him in that movie. So I want to correct that. Um, there's several other actors that you would recognize. I can't recall them off the top of my head. And one of them was, you remember the lady, the real attractive woman. She's probably 60 maybe now. And she would, oh God, she's right on top of my head.
Mhm.
She was in the movie Gone But Not Forgotten with Lou Diamond Phillips. Lou Diamond Phillips. He's also came up and introduced himself to me, shocked me on the
Wow.
set. Really, a really nice guy. Anyway, she was a beautiful person, and we had dinner with her and all the cast on set between filming.
Mhm.
It was a closed set in Sacramento,
Yeah.
and that was a great experience. So I think those three would be the biggest people
Yeah.
that I remember.
Were there any now you mentioned a while ago, we were talking before, and you mentioned that all of the people you had worked with were really nice. Was there any that was just like a diva, or were they all?
Yeah,
really
there was one. It was in the Phenomenon.
Oh,
I really don't want to mention his name,
okay.
but he was obnoxious, in my opinion. Had quite an attitude compared to everybody else.
Mhm.
Um, so I've only run into one,
Wow.
and he was it.
Wow.
I was
That's pretty amazing.
I was surprised. I find that most of these actors they're just people,
Mhm.
and most of them seem to be pretty genuine, and they're just thrilled to be big stars. They're making a lot of money.
Right.
Of course, everybody's giving the best treatment,
Mhm.
and it was fun to watch them. I love the actual making of the movies.
Mhm.
Um, there was one time on that set on Phenomenon where a scene went from day to night, and where it's outdoor scene, John Travolta gets pushed over a table, and it occurred during the daytime. So now they're going to film it at night because we're long into the night.
Mhm.
Filming days were always 12 hours or more. They were long. And so they brought in these super lights, bright lights that made it appear like it's daytime.
Mhm.
And we got the whole cast is there. Everybody's getting close to Thanksgiving. John Travolta was going to go from there directly to the airport and pilot his own jet. I didn't realize he was a pilot for a long time
Wow.
till that movie, and I got to really talk to him about it. But he had a commercial jet. He was going to go fly back to his home. I think it was in Florida at that time. And so we were all under the gun as far as timing, because he wanted to get on that plane and get out of there to make it back for Thanksgiving. So one of the extras on the film, while they're filming this, going on, you can imagine the expense that's going on, filming this, brings out a little camera he got at the pharmacy, one of those little $6.95 cameras, and he sees John Travolta get knocked over the table, and he takes a picture of John Travolta, and it flashes, and that flash just goes right across the ground. You can see it a mile away. And that director was looking through the lens of this camera, and he stopped and he said, "Who did that?" And everybody looked at this guy. What does?
Oh, no.
Sam. And he said, "Off the set." And boy, they escorted him off. We never saw him again. But he really messed up. They had to redo that scene.
Wow.
because of that. That was fun.
What would you say would be the most interesting part that you've ever played?
Well, one of the most exciting parts, I got headlines in the movie about a paragraph. I played a plumber. Guy comes to your house to do a plumber.
Mhm.
Is a comedy. And that's what qualified me to join the Screen Actors Guild, that movie. So it was a big deal to me
Yeah.
to be able to speak on camera,
Right.
not just be a background actor. And so that's exciting. And they had a premiere in Sacramento of that movie.
Oh, wow.
And so I rented a limousine. I got a tuxedo. Betty was all dressed up with flowers and everything. And we even had a bodyguard who was Mr. California. And we all got in that limousine that I had rented and went to the premiere, went on the red carpet, did the whole thing. That was
Wow.
really exciting that day
That sounds fun.
because that was the first time that I qualified for the
Yeah.
Screen Actors Guild. And so when I put in my paperwork and talked to Screen Actors Guild in Los Angeles, they said, "How long you been acting?" I said, "About 4 years." They said, "Well, you made it pretty quick. Most people, it takes a lot longer than that to
Wow.
get a speaking
Yeah.
part." So I was thrilled to death to do that. And I was in the Screen Actors Guild maybe between 15 and 20 years. I don't remember the exact number of years now,
Okay.
but at least 15. And so that was a good experience with them.
Yeah. So what made you decide to play Santa?
Oh, well, that's when, after having been in law enforcement, I thought it was finally the stage of life where you feel like I need to give back
Mm-hmm.
instead of just thinking, I need to advance my career. I need to do something for other people. And I was taking acting lessons in San Francisco at the time. I mentioned to you every Wednesday night, I went through a 2.5 hour drive from where I lived to San Francisco downtown, took acting lessons for 3 hours, drove 2.5 hours back to the house, and go back to work the next day in my garage door business. What was the question that you actually asked me about?
What made you play Santa?
Oh, play Santa. Oh, so they had a part as Santa. It was for what's the big discount store that everybody goes to, and you have to be a member of it?
Macy's?
No.
No. Bloomingdale's? I don't know.
Okay. It's
A big discount
a
store.
big discount store.
Oh, that you have to be a member of.
You have to be a member
Like
of.
Sam's Club, Costco?
Costco. It was Costco.
Okay.
So Costco was hiring several Santas to appear in a studio. Each person was individual, and I was one of them. I had a big fake beard because I didn't have real beard at the time, and we're going to appear in the store on giant screen in the Costco stores, and I could actually communicate with the kid who's on the other side. So he could say, "Oh, Santa, I want, so and so for Christmas."
Yeah.
I could do the whole. And so that was my first job, and I really enjoyed it, and the kids seemed to really enjoy it. And I did a couple of years as a volunteer for a group there that for kids who really needed clothing, sleeping bags so they have a place to sleep, things like that. I volunteered to be Santa and go out on Christmas Eve and give toys out to those needy kids at their home or whoever they were living with. Most of them were living with single parents or grandparents or something. And so that was a real thrill. And so I remember one night we had done that. We'd given out all the toys pretty much. We still had 3 or 4 in the truck. And I had Betty with me and her girlfriend. And I'm still in my Santa outfit, sitting in a pickup truck. And we're sitting across the street from a liquor store, just taking a rest.
Mhm.
And I see this guy pull in. He's got all his kids in his car. All the windows are down. I see all these kids flailing around in there. He goes to that liquor store to get some booze. And I thought, wouldn't it be surprising if he came out and Santa had visited those kids? So while he was in there, we ran across the street with stuffed animals and everything. Said Merry Christmas to these kids. They were really excited. Left them with all these stuffed toys. Went back and sat in the pickup truck. Watched him come out of that liquor store. He about died. Who in the world gave my kid all these toys?
Oh, wow.
And so I'm sure they're still talking about that. I'm sure. But that was funny. Betty and I still laugh about that.
So you started when you were still in California.
Yes, I started there.
How did you continue it here?
Well, I came here, and there was, which is still there, I believe, NASCAR Family Entertainment right there at Collier and the Parkway.
Yeah.
Had all the go-karts and all that
Right.
kind of stuff. And I just went, I thought, hey, I need to do some acting. So I went down there and said, you need a Santa? And they said, yeah, we'll do it. So, so they hired me for the day, and I was thrilled to do it. So I went down there as Santa, and there's this friend of mine that weighs 400 pounds, big, heavyset guy. And he said, I want to be your elf. I said, you're awfully big for an elf, yeah. And he said, I want to do it. So I bought him some green leotards, little shoes that flip up like an elf would wear. He had an elf hat somehow, a big shirt that fit him. And he would hand kids little candy canes before they came up to see me as Santa there. So he was there. And I'll never forget, this kid came up and looked at him and said, you're the biggest elf I've ever seen. He and I still laugh at that. That's 17 years ago.
Wow.
And we still laugh about it. You're the biggest elf I've ever seen. So I started doing that. And then I got on, hired by Smoky Mountain Opry on the Parkway. And they'd have a huge Christmas show every year, November and December. So I got to be Santa there. I did over 700 shows, 2-hour shows. And I would go on stage, I danced, I did a part, besides seeing people in the lobby as they come and go from the show. And the show would be they had seating up to 1,300 people. So, and some shows were a lot smaller than that, depending on the time of day and all that. But that was a great experience, and I miss it to this day. So I did that till they closed, and then I thought, well, I'm going to continue doing Santa, and grew a full beard and just kept going. And I've done it around Pigeon Forge and Sevierville at the big hotels. I just did it, 3 or 4 months ago at a couple of the major hotels here, and repeatedly come in there and see their guests in the lobby and have fun. So I've done it for 17 years here, and also do the courthouse lighting of the Christmas tree. Oh, yeah. They make a big deal about that every year. And it's when the mayor speaks and this and that, and usually about 500-600 people show up, and we help light the tree by the Dolly Parton statue. And so I've done that for 4 years in a row. So I've been asked to go back and do it next year too. So I'm happy with that.
Wow.
So that's how the Santa things work. And then I started a group being concerned about kids and giving back called Santa Comes to You. And if I heard about, which we did, we had tornadoes here in Tennessee. We had school bus crash. We had houses burn down. If I heard of any kind of tragic situation that involved a child, we went to that. And Betty and I did it, and we financially did it all ourselves. We never asked for money from anybody. But people did voluntarily give us toys all the time. Very generous. Stuffed animals, stuffed bears, things kids help comfort them, And so we went every even during the year, it didn't have to be Christmas time. Um, my first time I did it with two other Santas. We went to Moore, Oklahoma, and they had a E5 tornado, EF5, the biggest tornado you can get in Moore, Oklahoma. It was devastating. My parents were there and were luckily able to find shelter in a nursing home and be put in that shelter. But several kids lost their lives at school, and it was, I've never seen such devastation. We went out there and we took a van full of stuffed animals and stuff, went out there and gave it to kids. And I remember a woman said, "This is the most normal thing I've seen for days." She couldn't believe it. And so that, when you feel like you're really helping kids, that was great. So because of that, I got a person locally here uh, requested that I um, be considered by the governor of Kentucky, Bashir, and be given the honorary title as colonel, and which is quite an honor in Kentucky. So um, I submitted the paperwork for it,
Wow.
to tell the whole story. And he did that. He signed the paperwork, and I have the document on my wall right now. It's Colonel Robert Lochmiller
Wow.
from Kentucky. To
That,
me, that's a real honor, and
yeah.
I've enjoyed that. Just having the recognition of my work. So when we finally decided to stop that program, we had a storage room full of stuffed animals and stuff, like an 8x10 room that people had donated. And so I took all that to the Boys and Girls Club in Pigeon Forge and donated that to them. And they took pictures and put it in the paper and all that stuff. So I don't do that anymore. It's more than I'm kind of physically able to do, really.
Yeah.
Right now, travel that much around.
Right.
But it was very rewarding, and I feel like both Betty and I equally gave back to numerous kids in situations like that. Really needs help. And the big one was, of course, the fire here,
Oh, yeah.
2016. They brought those kids down to LeConte, a convention center, and Betty and I had fled this place. I had performed that night at Smoky Mountain Opry. I could see that flag just flapping out there at 10 o'clock at night. I thought, man, that fire, you could see that fire all over the ridges. And I thought, we got to get out of here. Spending time like I did in California, even as a deputy sheriff, I had to do fire evacuation. And fires travel very fast, especially in dry area like that. So I saw that fire. I thought, we got to get out of here. So we went to Alcoa, and we found a hotel that would take us. And then a lot of refugees, people were going to these hotels with their animals, their dogs, their cats, everybody. So we had a dog and a cat. They were jumping on us all night long on the bed. I mean, till like 3 a.m. And they were so nervous themselves, they didn't know what's going on. So I said, we're not even getting sleep here in this hotel. Let's go back to our storage room, get a lot of those toys, and take them to the LeConte Convention Center. We heard on the radio they were taking those kids there. So that's what we did. We pulled up. I'm in my Santa outfit. I forgot how she was dressed. She probably dressed in her Santa outfit, Mrs. Claus. And we brought those toys in there, and they had brought all those children out to see us. And those kids they had that look, they had that 1,000-yard look on there. They were traumatized. You could tell they'd been through the ringer. So brought all those toys in and gave it to them. And it was wonderful. They had a great response to it. We're really happy to see us, even though it wasn't Christmas.
Yeah.
But just the fact that someone really cared about them and trying to make their life better. So that was a exciting time as Santa. Yeah, I enjoyed that.
Yeah. Now going forward, well, let me ask you this. Are there any big things that big plans you have in the future or you just have a steady plan?
I don't have any big plans really at my age. I'm just trying to get up and do the best I can every day. Go to the gym 3 times a week and just try to stay as healthy as we can.
Right.
Unfortunately, our son, Betty's son, just passed away this last month. So we spent 11 days at the hospital with him. And it's been a real rough period, but it's done and we took care of it and we're just healing from that. But as far as big plans like career plans or something, no.
Now,
I've done it.
you're going to continue to play Santa, though.
Yes, still doing Santa,
Okay.
still asked back by the same hotels, the same courthouse. So everything this coming year's pretty well set up again.
Okay.
And so we're doing that. And I even do a little DoorDash on the side, make a little extra money. So those are the kind of the two things. I still shoot. I still go to the gym. So that's kind of the normal. Of course, we go to church locally, Pathways Church, every Sunday. And so I've really enjoyed living here. I will say it's nothing like I thought it was going to be, in that I thought I was coming to a mountain village in Tennessee.
Not anymore.
It wasn't when we arrived. That house that was upside down, there was a ship there next to it, the Titanic. Yeah. I couldn't believe my eyes when we drove here. Mm-hmm. And I remember calling on the phone before we got here. I called Sevierville at the community center or something. And I said, what's the population of Sevierville? And the guy said in a Elvis accent, it's not Sevierville, it's Sevierville. I said, oh, okay. I don't live there. I'm sorry. So anyway, we came out. And people would tell us, well, we hope you adjust out here and like it and all that. Everybody's very friendly to us when we came. And we really enjoyed. I mean, we wouldn't change a thing about that moving back. I've been back to California a couple of times. And I've enjoyed visiting with family and stuff, but I wouldn't really care to live back out there in that population. Yeah. So I like it a lot better here. And the greenery here, to me, is still amazing how green it is, and the mountains. And we were just up with, like I say, our son's passed away up in Indiana. I can't realize how flat it was, or is. So once I started looking around there, I thought, I'm sure glad we live in the mountains and we have all this greenery. Yeah. And so it was good to get back down here again.
Right. Mm-hmm. What is something, I'm just curious, what's something that something small that you just enjoy, that you do occasionally? I mean, it could be a cup of coffee in the morning, watching a bird or something. I mean, just something small that you just really enjoy.
Kind of an artistic side. I did wood burning, have done wood burning art for several years. I just recently quit doing it. Some of it's related to I just don't want to keep inhaling the smoke. I found by doing that, I was getting, it was almost kind of like smoking, you can feel it in your lungs a little bit. And I thought, I don't want to be at my age and have trouble breathing, so I'm going to quit doing it. And that's been fairly recent, the last few months. But I've probably been, I'd say since 2015. So what's that? 11 years. I probably wood burned a lot of art, sold some of it. Some of it have at my house
Mhm.
that I particularly like the piece. I usually do animals or flowers, stuff like that. I'm not good at people, you know. I'm not a great artist. I'm just kind of good, you know, but I enjoy doing it. It's really very relaxing, and you just kind of put your mind in the artistic mode and work on it for 2 or 3 hours, set it down, and work on it later. And again, but I did that at the senior center, and they offered wood burning classes there, and that's where I got started doing that.
Okay.
So that's very relaxing. I enjoy coffee in the morning. Absolutely, I have to have a couple of cups of coffee to get the day going.
Yeah.
And of course, the shooting is the kind of the uh, byproduct. I like to stay good, sharp with that.
Mhm.
And um, let's see what else. And the gym makes me feel good too. I've never gone to the gym. You may not be in the best mood to go to the gym, but after you've been there an hour and you worked out, you're always glad you did.
Yeah.
You always feel better.
Oh yeah.
So I'm going to work more on my health, focus more on my health, losing weight, and getting in better shape, especially at my age now. So I want to do that, and that's my next big project. So next time you see me, I hope you see Leslie.
Yeah. Well, I want to thank you for being on my podcast, well, video podcast here. And yeah, I appreciate it. And I really enjoyed hearing a lot more about it. I hope my audience did too. They made it this far. I know some people may not. I think I do have a pretty good audience, though. I do believe that they
Yeah,
enjoy
great.
listening.
Oh, great.
So this has been Bob. And also, is there anything, any link to anything you want me to put in the description?
No, not really.
No link. Okay. All right. So this has been me and Bob here, and I will see you next time. Bye.